Missiles for F-16 with a range of 300 to 500 kilometers, will they help Ukraine? By spring, the Ukrainian Armed Forces (UAF) might receive the first multifunctional light F-16 fighter jets. Along with these jets, they could also acquire missiles with a range of up to 300 to 500 kilometers. Forbes consulted military experts on the potential long-range missile options for the F-16. The F-16 fighter jet is known as a platform for aerial weaponry. It can simultaneously carry a variety of missiles and engage different targets, destroying bridges and headquarters, taking down drones and missiles, countering enemy aircraft and ships, and even performing ground attack roles on the front lines. Ukrainian pilots are currently training to operate the F-16 in Romania. The UAF could have their first planes by spring. The Netherlands has promised Ukraine a total of 24 F-16s, Denmark has pledged 8 in 2024 and 5 in 2025. Belgium and Norway have also promised jets, but have not specified the number. What roles will the F-16 play in the Russia-Ukraine war? This depends on the fighter jet's modifications and the weaponry provided by partners. Hinting at long-range JASSM? In future military aid packages, Ukraine expects F-16 jets and missiles with a range of 300 to 500 kilometers, said Lieutenant General Serhiy Neev, commander of the Joint Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, on February 5. Neev's statement does not necessarily imply that these missiles are for the F-16, notes Defense Express editor-in-chief Oleg Katkov. They could be aircraft and separate long-range missiles like ATACMS. If the missiles with a 300 to 500 kilometers range are indeed for the F-16, they are most likely AGM-158 JASSM, says Katkov. These missiles have been developed by the American company Lockheed Martin since the 1990s. The cost per unit varies up to $1.5 million in different modifications. Currently, there are 4 versions of this cruise missile. The classic JASSM with a range of up to 370 kilometers. JASSM-ER up to 910 kilometers. JASSM-XR or AGM-158B2 up to 1,900 kilometers. LRASM an anti-ship variant with a range of up to 370 kilometers. The 370 kilometers version seems the most likely, according to Katkov. This modification is sufficient to cover the entire depth of the temporarily occupied territories. The range indicator should not be overestimated since Western partners oppose Ukraine using their weapons on Russian territory, Katkov adds. If the West decides to provide the UAF with the JASSM-ER modification with a 910 kilometers range, this could potentially offer to significant advantages. Enabling more complex trajectories, the missile can maneuver, flying in arcs to avoid areas with concentrated enemy air defenses, Katkov explains. Safely targeting the Crimean Bridge from a long distance without entering the detection and strike zone of the Russian army, notes aviation expert and senior researcher at the National Aviation University Valery Romanenko.